see the sun touching me ray by ray. As we feel the warmth of the sun, the glow of the moon, and the birds singing their songs, we are reborn, recreated, and rejuvenated as we correct our little wrongs. Inside each one is an educator, so profound and great. Sitting still every day for a few minutes helps us feel the wisdom of nature before it's too late. Congratulations, my dear educators, for yesterday, today, tomorrow, and 365 days of all years. Your hope and cheers has blessed mankind and generated a trillion years. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, namaskar, salam alaikum, and salamat to respected CEO Mr. Akash Bhabat, esteemed mentors, all national and international dignified educators, and last but not the least, our wonderful audience for today. We at ABCD practice lighting of lamp before any of our endeavors. It makes way for unhindered progress in any venture. We pray that the auspicious lamp lighting makes this event successful and blessed. Let's take this moment and pray for the strength to learn as much as we want and to bless us with all the blessings. So, lighting of the lamp, please.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Great. Let's join hands across all the universe and pledge to be aware, alive, as each cell in our being become prolific givers to today's International Business Innovators Summit 2021 Trailblazers Rendezvous with Innovators, a master facilitators. Not to forget, 51 speakers, 20 moderators, 10 days, 51 topics, 8 themes, 30 hours. As ladies and gentlemen, that's our investment in ABCD family, and not to forget August gathering, an investment in knowledge based the best interest, and that's the USP of this International Business Innovators Summit. Why not play the awesome video to know more about the family? I would like ABCD International video to be put on the screen, please.
Yes, ma'am, please share that.
Mr. Akash, can you share it from your own end?
Please share, ma'am. I have shared you on WhatsApp.
Explain.
Now that was wonderful indeed. We came to know that what is ABCD family all about. Now, before we start the event, it's very important to introduce and welcome the iron pillars of ABCD who are hardworking, passionate, and committed. They believe that when we work together, there is no limit to what we can achieve. They always emphasizes that to make an impact in life, we must follow all passions and we must do all that it takes. Pour all our energy into work and make a mark and change a society by touching lives one person at a time. I feel pleasure to welcome and honor all the mentors of ABCD International Family, Dr. Manoj Segal, our chairperson, Dr. Rabia Bhatia, our chief advisory officer, Ms. Himanshi Abal, our chief mentor, and Dr. Shelly Best, me myself as the co-chairperson of the ABCD International Family. Now, before we proceed further for the summit, I would like to welcome all our national and international speakers. I give a huge welcome to all of them. Let me personally invite all of them on board. I would like to welcome Dr. Preethi, Dr. Rupali, Miss Ranjita, Miss Afroza, and our dearest Mr. Rudy. Rudy, you are one gentleman among all the four female present over here. So we would like to give you a special welcome along with the women empowerment on this show. So we are about to begin. And I would like to say that educators are the people who always give. Winning anything is not their trade or business, but learning to teach is their inborn talent. We as educators learn to teach, teach to live. Happiness is giving, giving is teaching. So, with this, I welcome the first guest speaker of this summit, a renowned lady and amazing personality, Dr. Preethi Ocha. She is the principal at Delhi International School, Sector 23, New Delhi. She is a leader, passionate facilitator, co-learner, and teacher course. She has an experience of 19 years in school profile, starting her career as a primary teacher, and today serving as a principal is a journey with endless stories. Her journey as a teacher has helped her to be a leader. Her quest to resolve issues of students, teacher, parents, and management give her the satisfaction of learning through each solution and in a micro level contribute to the system. So on day 4 with the theme education on board, I would like to give a warm welcome to Dr. Preethi, and she would like to speak on education and its relevance. So the stage is all yours, Dr. Preethi, and we are so keen to listen to what this amazing personality will be presenting in front of us. So welcome to the platform. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shelley. And I'm extremely grateful to ABCD International to invite panelists on such a wonderful platform with various kinds of stakeholders. If I'm not wrong, I have about 20 minutes in hand. So I'm starting at 6:11. So I
Yeah.
hope I finish on time and I'll not take much of your time, but to make sure that you have a quest around what I talk about education. Now, what is the relevance of education is extremely important for all the education stakeholders. When I talk about stakeholders, I talk about students, I talk about teachers, I talk about parents, I talk about the policymakers, I also talk about the government, I talk about all the organizations like yours helping and supporting education system to propel and look after the various policies being implemented by doing different kinds of program to bring all of us together. But when I look at the relevance in today's scenario and the relevance that we had for education about 20 years back, there's a huge difference. There's a huge bridge and a gap which I sometimes see. When I talk about education and when I ask many people around, I ask them what strikes your mind when you talk about the word education. Most of them come out with so many words, and most of the time it is about grades, it's about report card, it's about progressing of how much the child has done well academically. It is about the school infrastructure. It is also about after passing out 12th, what is the recognition of the child? Do you think that is the real need in today's time, looking at various kinds of situations the schools and the community has been through, especially during the pandemic? I would like to ask you, what do you think the need of the child in education today is? And I feel, with my experience as a leader, as a teacher, and also as a student and a learner, that we need to make the children at a very young age curious to know more, understand, and ask questions around what they want to learn. I want my children to be empathetic. I want them to learn what is the meaning of passion, what is the meaning of working for a cause. I want to see my children looking after themselves in various capacities. And I absolutely agree that schools cannot make one size fit for everyone. A child is coming from a different kind of a family background, another child coming from a financially different background, one child coming back from a background where parents do not need academics, some parents need academics, some parents need culture development, some parents need just go to the school and that's it, and otherwise after school go for your coaching and get into a professional college. So we have various kind of parents and children coming to an education sector. So what do we need to really change? And the only change that we need to make in the school system is the teachers' empowered teaching profile. This is how I actually see the future of education and its relevance. We like human interaction. Do you agree? Disagree? We love human interaction. In spite of all this pandemic, aren't we connected today through this Zoom? We want to talk to each other. We want to hear each other. We want to look at each other. We want to see the smile on your face. We want to get reassured about how are you and how am I. And we feel reassured that we are coexisting together with this virus around us. Similarly, we need to measure the child on various aspects. If you're looking forward for a school and an education sector only to assess academics, that's a small piece of the entire measurement of the child's learning profile. And what are the abilities that the child has in the future which they need to acquire? That is communication. I have I have taken a very long time to ask questions from my teacher. That's the first step of communication in the classroom. And let me tell you, a teacher which is empowered, she allows number of questions coming from children. Similarly, parents who have patience allow number of questions coming to them from the child. And if those questions are not answered, they keep simmering, they're snubbed, the child again goes back to the academic rigor and tries to prove themselves on paper pen. That is not what the future is. Do you think that I would have been a topper of a school to be where I am? Absolutely no. I was an average child. But what made that rigor of moving ahead was various aspects which come around your academics. So when I come together to work, I realized that an individual can write things on a paper and score 100 on 100. But can that individual child be with 10 more children and create a project? Very rare, which usually a school doesn't include in the curriculum. But the new policy is coming up with it. It's a very beautiful but an ironical situation for all of us. How ironical? I'll explain you. When when I talk about education system, I always look forward for people who have a lot of optimism, who are looking forward for hope, who are having an idealism. And we need them in our education system. James Carsey very beautifully defines finite gains and infinite gains. I hope you all know about the meaning of finite and infinite, but still I'll let you know a little more. Finite means, and a finite game means that you have a person or a competitor in the game, that's for sure, then it's a game. And when you have known competitor, it's a known player, if you have a fixed rule and you have a fixed objective, then it's a finite game. When you have an unknown or a known player, when you have a rule which will keep changing, when you have to have an objective which perpetuates the game, doesn't have a finish line, it doesn't have a conclusion, it doesn't have a closing. That's infinite game. And I'm relating this finite and infinite game with the help of James Carsey, as very rightly said, that our school system is more into finite games assessment, books, syllabus, number of periods, 6 hours, number of children, and various other aspects. And the life is infinite. Unknown students around you after the school, unknown life rules of every person individually mattering. You have rules which will keep changing. You will have an objective which will keep changing. After one objective completing, it's not end. You have another objective in life or a goal. So, what are we exactly doing? We are trying to use the finite game process in an infinite world where the children have to go tomorrow. So, when I look at this beautiful definition of finite and infinite, and when I try to include it in the education system, I realize that what are we trying to assess in our children? That prescribed syllabus, that mark sheet, or are we trying to bring them out of those finite game situation and bring them into a world where infinite number of opportunities are there, where infinite number of plans have to be made without any guidance at that particular time? Are we really making them prepared for that? So the problem is when we play an infinite game, that means in the world of after the school, the infinite game, when we want to play that infinite game with finite game, that is the learning from the school, which is finite, with a finite mindset, because that's all we all are, because I've got the education from a finite mindset. And so I'm going to be showcasing the same to my children. And then few very consistent objectives will be achieved. And the most big harassment would be that the achievement would be very low in terms of relationship when you're trying to bring your infinite mindset into a finite game. Carsi defines very clearly that fine, we understood. It's an finite game of school and the life. But how now should we bring an organization with an infinite mindset, which has a leader with an infinite mind, and also how to remove that lens of all the stakeholders with infinite thinking skills? And basically, what happens is that why do we put our children in schools? We put our children, the problem is we put our children in the school for the sake of coming to the school. We want them to win. And the problem is that it's only for the sake of winning we want to win. Because you spend your whole life in this entire vicious circle of winning and moving ahead of others, uh, it becomes unfortunately an unleashed behavior or a potentially dangerous behavior to come through it, which is undermining your competitors. And it is okay to win. I don't mind that. The children need to go ahead and win. But we have to really understand that our winning should not be short term. Most of the time, I keep talking and I keep finding people that you should have smaller goals in life. But smaller goals are straight. Very soon you reach them. You need to have a bigger picture in life. Who teaches children that? You're in sixth. Let's plan what are you going to do in 12th. Let's plan what you're going to do after 12th. It has to be brought into the stakeholders from the very young age in children, where I need parents, where I need many stakeholders along with it. But what is the basic need the future would be looking like? Do you think marks and academics and numbers and the report card with that moderation result will help them to actually achieve what they want to? Absolutely no. So we need to know that the people who are going to share the information of learning and teaching, that's the pedagogy, with the children, have to have few very important things in mind. And only then we will be able to bring an impact on the education system and its relevance and learning outcome for children. And I define it with you need to have just cause. It looks very simple to hear, but just cause means I want to work in a school just for the cause of doing things for children. Somebody offers me a higher amount of money for a salary, I wouldn't move. I'm working here for a cause and I'm getting satisfied. That's essential for us to teach our teenagers, youth, and leaders, not keep moving from one organization to another, because that's not going to help in the cause that we are looking forward for. The second thing which I feel is trusting a team. We need to build our children, the future citizen, the school teachers and leaders to have a very, very trusting team. And what do I mean by trusting team is that you feel safe when you're with them. You don't hide when you make mistakes. You're not supposed to feel ashamed in front of the whole public or in a community room in front of all the children that you're not done the right thing. The minute you start having trust within each other, you start doing things the right way and reforming it, which is essential. Worthy goals. We need to have goals which are appropriate for us, which are year long at least. We should have worthy rivals. And what I mean by worthy rival is that you need to have a competitor who you need to applaud if they achieve something and to understand from their strengths what are your weaknesses and work on your own weakness. That's the real need in the education system. If I have 10 teachers and if I have 10 children who are doing extremely well, or myself, if I see a principal doing extremely well, we need to collaborate. We need to ask if they can share the same thing with our school. We need to spread the community of collaboration from one school to another with the same level of exchange. Essential, extremely essential. Capacity for existential flexibility is extremely important. We need to have the power to change the dynamics of education system in one night with full confidence, 360-degree change. We have to have the courage to make sure that what we go forward with, we do it, which is essential to see because it may have small and short comings in the beginning, but the future will look brighter. So these are very important skills which I see in the school education system, which needs to come with the new NEP 2020 also. So when I look at this entire education system, I feel that the culture and the behavior of the individual, which are people, has to change towards education system. I want my children to have and promote curiosity, and same the parent to do. There's nothing wrong in grades. I don't mind them at all, but that's a small piece of the entire progress of a child. If a topper of a class, they can be used for various good profiles and jobs where you want people to just top and get best for your company. But what about the average? They know how to get the way out. They know how to get the work done. They're strugglers. They have never been put on a pedestal of toppers, so they don't have the fear of falling. So an average child, if has all the qualities which I'm talking about, they do better than a topper. We are focusing on exam, but do you think is it extremely important to focus and are we rightly assessing the child through that learning style of paper pen? We need to really and constantly see that our children keep learning throughout their schooling and come out to be nice, thoughtful, and polite children. What is my advice to parents who are the second most important stakeholder of the school? My advice to them for perpetuating the education system is that please make sure that if your child has an aptitude towards art, towards gymnastics, towards swimming, may not be in the school, support them, encourage them, make sure they do good at it. Why? I'll tell you the reason. I feel the idea to encourage the natural curiosity and talent because if they are curious, they have interest. And if they are interested, that means they will work hard. And if they work hard, they'll be good. And if they're good, they will be more confident. And if they're confident, they will try harder and take more risk in life. This is how the entire chain moves if you really look into it with a deeper concept. Kids who are average constantly keep striving to reach the best. And so if an average child is not all the time compared with toppers, it will help the education system. Because end of the day, let me tell you all my stakeholders here, that it is not the schools who drive the system of the school. It is the community, it is the parent, it is the child, it is the people around the school system, it is the society which makes the school run the way they're running. Because end of the day, school needs to run on money. School needs to have admissions. So what we all do together as a school system is important and where we need parents and educationists to bring a different feel altogether in the education system. So I just want to say in the end is finite mindset looks for rules. And only when a finite mindset person will find rules around them, they'll feel safe. An infinite world, which is outside, looks for people. And if you have a healthy relationship, you know how to talk to people, you're empathetic, your communication is good, you know how to resolve a conflict. If you know how to talk to people around you and keep that healthy relationship all the time as a highest priority, you'll be able to win the infinite game of life for which education and the schools are persuading for. Thank you so much.
Dr. Preeti, it was just wow. I listened to you with, pin drop silence and attention. Each word went to me, and I could resonate with each word of yours. How well you began, your intro, and how you took us with the flow, and how you ended, how you summarized each and everything was so well, because, you began with a number game. Just now we are having the CBSE compartment examination. Just now we had couple of days ahead, we had the board results, class 12 board results out. And I think yesterday also I was discussing the same thing. It was just the number game, people not satisfied. Apart, see, as a principal, you must be knowing that how much we all have worked hard, sheets by sheets, moderation and everything. And then we were able to upload the result. And then also, if few of the children were not satisfied, if few of the parents were not satisfied, why? Even if 96.5, they're not satisfied, 90 plus, they are not satisfied, it means what? We are talking only about the number games. As you began, like what the parents look after, what the parents see into a school, it's just the numbers, the report card, the syllabus, that is all. And even some parents are attracted only by the infrastructure of the school. They want their children to study in all designer buildings, instead of looking at the fact that is the faculty good enough, is the inside picture good enough. But no, they want designer buildings for their kids. So that is what which you focus. And yes, but the second thing which you focus was, what about the empathy? What about the empathy of the children? And what about the human interaction, which is missing here and which is the need of the hour? That means at this point of time, we are left only with this paper pen job. That's it. The red pen in the hand of the educators, and the children writing in the textbook, and that's it. So is this life? Is this life? And yes, I was very impressed when you talked about yourself, that you were an average child. You were not the topper, 96, 97, 98%. You were an average child. But how come today you are so successful as a principal and running the school so well and becoming an inspiration for people? So this is what we often see. Not necessarily that the toppers who are 90 plus or something, they will end up getting wonderful jobs, and the mediocre child, they will lose. But on the contrary, it happens that average child is always seen at the top level, and the toppers generally on an average, I'm talking about that, the toppers are not seen anywhere. So we need to talk in terms of the parents also. Please don't focus on the numbers. Numbers are nothing. It is just a figure on the paper, but try to work here. That is what I loved in your speech. And then you discuss beautiful words, finite words and infinite words. That is very important, because this is, I'm hearing for the first time and I just lapped it up. Finite is what? The fixed syllabus, 6 hour school, 8 periods. That is what is being given to the timetable. That's it. But they do not discuss the infinite world, which is what? The world outside, the opportunities, the resources, and what the child enjoys outside. And then I loved your trusting team, how to build the team and with the trust. And I think if you talk about the team should be about the parents, children, and the educators, because it's the golden triangle what we talked about. It is something very important. And then I love your worthy rivals. Why are we afraid of competition? Why are we afraid? See, here are five speakers sitting over here, but I will not say that all these fives are rivals. Why rivals? It's a healthy competition going on. It's a healthy platform. It's a healthy exchange of ideas. I love the word used by you, collaboration. If we are learning something from somebody, why to feel jealous, or why to put that person as your competitor? I love the word collaboration which you used. See, if your opponent is of some use to you, if he or she is having some beautiful ideas, why not accept the ideas? Why not you give your ideas to him or her, or why not to lap up their ideas to you? So I feel that is to be done by the healthy collaboration. And then change in the education dynamics which you talked about, and also about the culture exchange which the parents and the children should mutually should go about. And how about the advice? The last thing which you spoke about was the advice to the parents, and that was a wonderful advice to the parents. Yes, why do we want all engineers in our school? Why do we want only all doctors in our school, or CAs in a school? Your child can be aptly good at maybe gymnastic, maybe art, maybe swimming, maybe a dancer, maybe a singer. So why not hone that talent of that particular child? This is the entire world, and we can't have each and every damn child to be the doctor or the engineer. So that was the best part of your speech, which I loved about. And the last thing which you talked about is the how to encourage the natural talent and ability of the child. And if you see the finite world, you have to go only about the rules and regulation which we have there in the school itself. But if you go to the infinite world, then you have the whole world to explore. So that is what I summarize, and that was the best thing. You have just given me the best part, the key insights. And I think if I am able to grasp whatever you spoke, I believe my fellow speakers and my audience and everybody would have understood what the motto of your speech was. So it was awesome. And now I request that if any one of the audience would like to put any questions to our speaker, Dr. Preethi. So I would, first of all, this is a lovely session going on. So why our audience is on this, you should come live on the screen. I request each one of you to kindly come and put on your videos so that I could see the expression of you all. So I want a live audience over here. I want an enthusiastic participation of the audience over here. I would want lovely questions to pop up to a wonderful, dignified speakers over here, since it is such an interesting session. And moreover, yesterday only we celebrate the World's Literacy Day. And I think education is one of the best. Yes, Miss Rupali, Dr. Rupali, are you speaking something? I can't listen to you actually. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, ma'am. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
I just wanted to compliment Preethi ma'am on the various factors that she connected so beautifully, and the way she connected the dots, and it covered the entire process, what we go through and what we call as education today. So I'd really like to compliment her on that. A wonderful connecting of the whole thing. Thank you. Lovely.
Thanks, Dr. Rupali, for the compliment. It was much needed because the speech, the deliberation was too good. But I won't let Dr. Preethi go away if there is no question. So let me ask the question from my side. So, Dr. Preethi, what do you think is the biggest global problem for you as a principal on education, which you're facing right now, and how will you try to solve that problem of yours?
I am I'm actually finding a very ironical situation. That is, we have parents with helicopter parenting,
Yes.
where they want their children to be, since generations, what they couldn't be. I have a beautiful artist in my school. She paints so well that explaining her in words is impossible for me. I envy her because the way she expresses her painting is
Okay.
out of that child's ability and potential. But her parents want her to be an engineer. And when I speak to them, they say that's more respectful and absolutely honest. Dignity of labor in India is not yet with freedom of mind. it is still associated with white collar job. I think that we educationists are the most poor with dignity. I see that whenever I ask in my class who wants to become a teacher, there are very less children who raise their hand. But children love me. Children love me. Look at the irony, Michelle. They love me. They want to come every day to the school. They talk to me. They share their secrets. But they don't want to be a teacher.
Yes.
Now, if you go deeper,
Hmm.
it is the parent who tells, not a teacher. That's the last thing.
Yeah.
Easy entry. You'll get it anytime in life. Be something where you can earn more. You'll be more respectful. We'll be able to show off you in the society. And so I will be a little more elevated in life because I couldn't do few things. So similarly, you will be doing better and I will be somehow rising in society. Wherein, as I said, when you encourage a child for painting, you don't encourage the child for painting actually. You encourage the child with confidence in life. I'm a table tennis player. I play table tennis till national level, but that doesn't help me in school. But that has given me a lot of confidence.
Yes.
How to get inside a room in spite of losing a game yesterday. I couldn't speak to few children properly, so let me go again in the class and restart my communication. Sports, your most passionate hobby, allows you with boosting confidence, which helps you to be something in life if you are not plan A. So I feel that's the huge irony of thinking of parents. Allow your child to be what they want to be and let them fall and stand up again for what they are actually having the ability for. Don't rush them with pressure. Don't ask a fish to climb a tree. Ask a fish to swim. It's
Correct.
extremely important. So this
Correct.
is how I feel that still we have that tug of war, which has to be improvised nationally and internationally both.
Yes. So I think you have done justice to the question asked by me. Wonderful, Dr. Preethi. You have given an immense start to this session, and I think you have raised the bar for today's summit. So with this, I would like to request and welcome my co-host, Miss Anjali Bhardwaj, to please come and introduce yourself and take the stage over. So I give a warm welcome to our sweet Anjali. Can I see Anjali on board? Welcome, Anjali. The stage is all
Hello,
yours.
everybody. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You're so inspiring to me. It's my first time doing moderation, and it's so inspiring to see you. It's like you're very cheerful. Thank you, ma'am. It is inspiring me a lot.
I wish you will do a fantastic and a wonderful job, because
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
first time is
Thank you.
always for the first time, and first time is always the moment to be cherished, since debut is debut and maiden is maiden. So I wish you all the good luck, Anjali. Please come on board.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And with your wishes, I would like to introduce you all to our next speaker.
Anjali,
So,
can I see you on the video mode first?
is my video not there?
No, no, your video was there. Yes, now you're on the video mode.
All right. So, he
Again, you
is Mr.
disappeared, Anjali. Anjali, again, you disappeared.
Oh my God, what is this happening? Am I there?
Yes, yes, you are there. You are very much there.
Okay, so he's Mr. Rudy Salam
Ma'am,
Silukua.
again you are missing.
Oh my God. What do I do now? So I'll just introduce him and then I'll switch on my
Okay,
camera.
okay, yes, you can.
He was born on April 4th, 1986 in Indonesia. He has been teaching English as an English teacher for more than 10 years and has been working as a lecturer for more than 5 years. He likes some topics for presentation in seminars or workshops. He often presents topics about English teaching, research, communication skills, leadership, public, public speaking, neuro-linguistic programming, personal development, etc. All in all, he tries to give his best to his students. Indeed, learning from a kind teacher like him must be enjoyable to all of his students. Sir, I'm looking forward to your talk. Please, sir, enlighten us, and the stage is all yours.
Please unmute, sir.
Mute. Okay, good evening all. Am I audible?
So, just a bit increase the volume.
Here's the volume, yeah. Wait. Already maximal. Okay, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Now I'm going to present a good topic, especially for teachers in the classroom. The topic is effective communications in the classroom skills for teachers. Let me discuss a little bit, okay, and let me share about knowledge about communications in the classrooms. The first one, um, what is communications? Are why many teachers needs communicate with others effectively. The first one is by using a variety of media to stimulate pupils and achieve the objects of lessons. This is why many teachers need to communicate effectively. For example, a good teacher in the classroom try to give the best, try to explain about the good topic to the students. So if the teachers don't have good communications, how come to explain about the topic, about the material? So we have a good topic, but how to deliver this material by using a good language to the students in the classroom? That is why any teachers must be able to have good communications in Hindi language, in Bahasa Indonesia, in English, if you have English class. By using variety of media, a good teacher tries to give the best, tries to stimulate, try to give the solutions, try to give a good explanations to all the students in the classroom. Okay, next, um, effective communications in the classroom. Okay, there are many kinds of the things in the classroom. The first one is about honesty, and then broadcasting, receiving different pupils, and then pupils versus problems, and the next one two-way, personal presentation, voice productions, and etc. You can see in my slides. So all of them are very important for teachers when a teacher tries to give or to explain some good materials in the classroom. So this is what we call as effective classroom communications. So a good communications, there must be two ways, not only one. So teachers and then the students must be active. So a good teacher is not like this one, just keep just saying something, just talking something, but there is no good interaction from the students. So if we are talking something, it means the students will be interested with the topics we are presenting in the classroom. Sometimes it takes place in the classroom as I'm an English lecturer, and then I give the micro teaching to my students, and then a student tries to give or to present a good materials to the students. But the reality, not every student can be interested with the material. So if the students doesn't interested with the are not interested with the topic, so the mistakes is not from the students, but the problems are from the teachers. A good communication also, we try to give the best solutions when communication takes place. So students in the classroom must be able to understand well. So when we are talking about something, the content of the materials must be understood clearly. That is why when we are presenting, when we are teaching about something, every words, every language must be delivered well to our students. And the next one, what are communication skills? Okay, there are two parts. The first one we call as a transmissions and then reception. So a speaker try to transmit a message to the audience, especially in the public speaking aspects. Okay, a good speaker try to deliver a good message to the audience. So in this classroom, the message will be transmitted to the students. So who is receptor? We call it a receptor. The receptor is the student. Sometimes the students give the interactions or the response, and then the teachers will be a receptor. But generally, a teacher is the transmitter for the learning process when we are explaining about something, and then the students will be the receptor. So both of them are balanced. So not only a transmitter, but also as a receptor. So we call this process as transmissions and then reception. Sometimes something happens in our daily life. There is a message and then it is not delivered well to the audience. Why? Because there is a problem. The problem going to a good understanding of the students or the audience, because when we have less understanding, it means we are not able to understand deeply about the message. This is why we need to have more knowledge about topics, about materials, and etc. Okay, with whom it will be taken place? The first one, pupils, okay, or students. And the second one, colleges, managers, classrooms, assistants, visiting specialists, language specialists, and etc. And the next one, parents and others. A good teacher must be able to communicate with many people, not only to the students, sometimes with the colleges or with the teachers in the office, in the school environment. And the next one is with the parents. Sometimes there is a problem, will be something to be discussed with the teachers and the parents, so there will be good communication. So how come we can explain about topic, about materials, about problem if we have less ability in communication? So a good teacher must be communicative. Why? When we are delivering something, when we are delivering message, so this message will be delivered well to many people, sometimes to the students, to the parents, with the colleges, and etc. I think that building good communication is not easy, and that is not hard. It depends on our experience. Like myself, I have been a public speaker more than 10 years. I think I still have less communication or less knowledge. Why? So that is why I keep learning. Yes, a good speaker is a good learner. And the next one, this is the process of transmission. We can see the picture, okay, looking up the picture, only 7%. And one, non-verbal communication or body language, 5%. And tone of voice, the way spoken is 38%. So the total number or the maximal practice is by using nonverbal, because communications generally can be applied, can be used by using nonverbal system. If we try to make into the written communications, I think sometimes we can write down and then send the letter or maybe send the information to our colleges and etc. And as a reflection, what types of communication do we use? Okay, this is a good question. The first one, what types of communication do you use? Okay, this is my question. Okay, you can answer. Just type. And the second one, what do you hear yourself saying, see yourself doing? And the third one, describe this to a partner. And the fourth one, identify and script consistently, use phrases or non-verbal routines you use. So four of these questions can be answered with yourself. The first one, what types of communications do you use? It depends on us. But as we know that nonverbal communications is generally used by many people when communications is used by many people. And what do you hear about yourself saying, see yourself doing? Okay, you can see yourself in front of the mirror. And the next one is barriers. Okay, if we can see the barriers, the first one, emotional aspects. When you are presenting, when you are speaking some things, you can see your emotional, your expressions. If you are too serious to present or to deliver a message, I think that not everyone can be interested with your spoken language. So it depends on the case, it depends on the time, it depends on the situation. Sometimes we can show our serious expression, sometimes we can smile, sometimes we can laugh, and etc. So our surrounding, our situations will be supported our expressions. And the second one, treat to teacher self-esteem. Okay, that is why every teacher must be able to know more about the condition. as a public speaker, the first one, before making a good language, before designing the language, the first one, we must be able to know who are our audience. So we can use the simple language, effective language, or maybe academic speaking, and etc. So speaking to primary school students and then senior high school students is very different. So every teacher must be able to know more the conditions about the situations in the surrounding or in our working area. And the next one is better skills experience. Okay, not everyone can have more skills and experience, but skills or experience can be created. Okay, can be created. So our experience cannot be found, but will be created. Sometimes we find some things, maybe our friends' experience can be told by us, but a good one is by having our self experience. So skills can be formed, can be experienced, can be mixed, and etc. Or train as a professional trainer, we must be able to give or to have more skills, not only one, but try to add our skills. Communications that creates our reinforced negative behaviors, okay, can be seen. The first one, sarcasm. If you see sarcasm, especially in our country, sometimes it can be taken place, okay, in our surroundings. Sometimes we are going to criticize or maybe sarcasm to criticize someone, etc. So this will give you a negative impact in your life, and then anger, belittling, negative expectations. Okay, never hope more. So negative expectations will give you negative impacts in your life. And the next one is incentive, physical context, overuse a physical size. So sometimes, okay, we are speaking something on the stage, okay, never give over use of physical size. When we are talking some things, just give the expressions, how to deliver, how to have good expression when we are speaking something in front of our audience, in this case, in the classroom. Okay, the next one is communication that promotes positive behavior. Look it up the script. The first one, we need praise. Okay, by giving praise, our students will be interested with our materials. Not only criticize, but please praise them. The next one is affirmations. Okay, affirmations can be given to many people, to our students, to our colleges, and etc. Because this is the greatest energy. And positively states expectations also can be given to all of us, to our students, to every students, and etc. And language of belonging. Language is designed by us to communicate, to transfer something, to deliver something. So by having good communication, especially language, it can be had by many people in interacting with the others. And then language of choice. If we are talking about some things, language of choice, okay, it can be acquired by many people when you are talking about something, and etc. And eye contact, this is a specific one for a speaker. Why? It can be seen that you are nervous or not. Why? Because it can be seen from your eye contact. You are so serious. Sometimes you don't have braveness to see your audience, and then you only focus on seeing the roof, okay, on the top, and then you are not brave to look at your surrounding and then focus only one direction. But a good speaker, a good teacher, try to see all of the direction, to the right side, to the left side, to the center, behind us, and etc. So this eye contact can give you more spirit to deliver your topic. The next one is physical contact. Okay, sometimes you must be able to save your physical contact. Why? Because this is the key to interact with your students. If you are in the seminar or maybe in the training, you must be able to apply safe physical contact, so there will be good communications. Not separate too far, but try to build safe physical contact to your audience or to your students. And the next one is body language. Every speaker will be understand will be understandings about body language. Why? Body language is the key for a public speaker when you are speaking something in front of the audience. In this case, in this classroom. So it is impossible for you. You want to teach something and then your body language, you are too serious, and then there's no body language. You focus on yourself, but never show your expression. So that is why there are many characteristics of the speaker. Sometimes you are too brave, you are too happy, you are too serious, and etc. But it can be combined, every teacher. Like our moderator, the first moderators I see, I really interested with your style. Why? You are a good speaker. You saw your body language, even though this is an online event. So it can be seen that you are an experienced person. Why? Because we keep learning, right? So we can learn from the others. I can learn from the moderator. I can learn from India, and etc. So there are many differences. So how to collaborate, how to combine it to develop our skills. I can learn from another speakers. Okay, sometimes she has as characteristic in the speaking context, so we can combine. Never mind, a good speaker is a good learner. We keep learning, we can collaborate, and etc. We can improve our knowledge, especially skills on developing our English speaking skills, or by building the communication for teachers in the classroom. The next one is, okay, look it up the screen. Body language is not only what you say, it's the way that you say it. If you say something, you must be able to direct yourself to make the good position, and etc. So awareness of nonverbal behavior allows you to become a better receiver. If you are a good receiver, it means you are a good transmitter. In the classroom, there are two ways of communication. You are not only a transmitter. Sometimes you are transmitter and sometimes you are receiver. Because communications is two-way system. Sometimes you are a listener, sometimes you are a speaker. When your student asks you, you must be able to become a good listener. Okay, and the next one, you will become a better sender of signals that reinforce learner. If you are delivering a message and then your communications or your connection, it means your sender signal, your sender of signals is not good. So your message cannot be transferred well to your students. Especially for the new teacher, okay, she or he is so nervous in delivering or explaining about the topic. That is normal. Okay, if you are nervous for the first time, you are still nervous. Okay, that is normal. For a professional speaker too, okay, sometimes they will have nervousness in their life, because sometimes our environment, the time, about our minds, about our problem, about our personal problems, sometimes it can affect us. Maybe we need to be more professional, but we are still human. Okay, that is normal if we face nervousness in our life when we are speaking about something. And the third one is increase the degree of perceptual psychological closeness between teacher and pupils. Okay, look it up here. You must be able to perceive psychological closeness. A good teacher, the first one, this is not about how clever you are. But the most important is the first one, how can you build good communications between you and your students. If you have had built a good communications, and the second one, you can transfer the knowledge. So in the reality, many teachers or smart teachers, okay, they can understand that it can be something, but it's very hard for them to transfer the knowledge to the students, especially by good communication in the classroom. And the next one, okay, negative verbal behaviors, inconsistent or hidden message. We are not consistent. And then rudeness, raise voice, okay, always raise voice, okay, so that is why our teacher and our students, okay, don't understand what we are talking about. And then incoherent diction and too much talk, okay, too much talk, but the masses or the materials cannot be taught well. The teacher only keep talking about his or her personal life and etc. This sometimes takes place in our daily life or in our classroom, and inappropriate language or style. So we need to collaborate. We need to know more about the situations in the classroom. And the next one, nonverbal behavior, eye contact, facial expression, gestures, posture and body orientation, proximity, paralinguistics, humor. Sometimes a good teachers need humor, not too serious, but sometimes give the humor to your students. Maybe they are so serious, and then try to give the humor. So humors, they can laugh, okay, they will have more energy, not too serious. Okay, you are serious to teach some things and then never give the smile. Okay, I think this is not a good teacher. But a good teacher, sometimes you can smile, you can teach well, you can give humor, and etc. I think those aspects have been explained by me at the previous slides. Okay, the next one is positive verbal behaviors. Okay, you can see clear message, respectful, encouraging, appropriate use praise, pause, clear dictions, modulate tone. So they are very basic for teachers, especially in the teaching process. Clear messages, and then respectful to your students, encouraging your students, appropriate use of praise. You can give the praise to your student, and then sometimes you need pause and then clear diction. So by having clear diction, your students can understand well about what you are talking about, modulate tones and etc. And the next one, okay, developing your role. The first one, by having honesty, openness, respect. Okay, there are three most important aspects: honesty, openness, and respect. If you never respect to your students, I think it's impossible for you to deliver something to your students, because we must be respect to our students. Sometimes, okay, there is something takes place for our students' daily life, okay, and that it can affect them to the classroom activities. So please respect. You must be able to know more about the background of your students, about his or her families, and etc. So it can make you, okay, it can make you feel easy to teach them. And the next one is developing your role, be professional, look professional. And the next one, set professional expectation. A good teacher must be professional. A professional one means you can design, you can make the position wherever you are. Sometimes you are a good teacher, sometimes you are the best friends for them, sometimes you are the best teacher, sister or brother for them, and etc. Look professional can be seen from your appearance, about your language, about your way to teach them. And the next one, set professional expectation. It means every teacher has expectations. If you are teaching something, your expectations is that your materials can be understood well by your students. So this is the goal, because we can design how to deliver, and then the target is every teacher, no, every student can understand well from what? From the test you give, from the result of the test. It can be reflected by you that your materials had been delivered well or not. And the next one is strategies. You can give prompts and then cues. Why? Both of them are very basic one for you. You must be able to know more, to give them some things, to give them energy and etc. And when problems arrive, okay, a little bit. And then the first one is stay calm, speak to the people privately in a quiet voice. If they make a mistake, never speak to your students in front of many people or in front of many pupils. Establish eye contact and call the pupil by name, by giving smile, by giving good expressions and etc. And then state any comments are positive, do rather than negative, don't. Okay, just do, don't less, okay? Use clear and descriptive terms so that the pupils knows exactly what is expected. So every teacher must be able to describe about something well. So every student can be understand well about something you have described before. The next one, when problems arise, stay calm, speak to the pupil privately already. When problems arise, mismatch between words and nonverbal signals. Okay, and the next one, pause to think before reacting to provocative behavior. The next one, do not become entangling and protect discussion. Do not try to curse or force a pupil to comply. So we must be able to design our classroom. So our classroom is the second home for our students. So there will be a good expression. They will miss our classroom every time. So never make your students, okay, they have no will to come back to our classroom. So we can design by giving the greetings, by giving the good materials, by explaining more, and etc. Next, okay, pitfalls, message between words and non-verbal signals, pause to think before reacting already. Practice steps to avoid conflict. The first one, overface savvy exit strategies. The second one, act in positive ways. Okay, just positive ways. The third one, agree fair behavior consequences and forms. Avoid making demands of pupils when they are upset. So every teacher must be able to know the conditions of our students. If they fail to our subject, our topic, so you must be able to know more what is the problem. The next one is um, by understanding this one, okay, every teacher can be understand well about how to communicate, because a good communications can be taken place, can be delivered to our students. So that is why every student uh, can be happy, can get, or maybe can accept all the materials you have taught to your students. So as the conclusion is, a good teacher must be able to be a communicative person. By becoming a communicative person, it means you can communicate with your students, you can deliver, you can transfer knowledge, you can transfer message to your students, so the message can be accepted well by your students. And the next one is, a good teacher is a good learner. So by attending every class every day, you are learning about your students, about your conditions, and about your communication. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
Wow. I was at awe while you were speaking. You were giving so many lessons. I have started teaching students, and I do feel a lot of difficulties because sometimes I feel like why my students are not responding to me, or why my energy is not vibing with them. So it was really informative. All the points that you've discussed, I have a lot of questions. But before that, I would invite my participants to come in the chat box and drop all your questions. All right. We have a question from Akriti Bharadwaj. She's asking, is there a way we can measure or assess effective communication?
Pardon, miss?
I would repeat, sir. She's asking, is there a way we can measure effective communication?
Okay, it's not very clear.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I'll repeat my question. She's asking, is there a way we can measure effective communication? That is her question.
Is
there a way?
Oh. Or is there a way, or is there a way to measure our effective communication?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is there a way to measure our effective communication? Especially a measurement for a good communication, sometimes it can be measured from what? From the target. Okay. If we can transfer a message, okay, this is the concept of communication. If we can transfer a message and that the receptor can understand well about the message we have delivered, so the message successfully delivered to our students or to many people. Sometimes we keep talking, but the message cannot be delivered. So the message can be failed. So is there a way? Yeah, we have a way. In the speaking, because I'm an English lecturer, okay, and we try to analyze the speaking, we have many factors, okay? There are many elements in understanding the speaking subject. For example, like eye context, dictation, and about tones, about the pronunciation, and etc., about the stress, about length, and etc. So there are many elements for researching a speaking subject. So is there a way to what's it to measure effective communication? Yes.
Yes.
There is. But about the level,
yes,
it is different, right? Okay.
Yes.
If you
Yes,
want
sir,
to,
I get your point.
yes, if you want to test the good communications, you can make ice breaking. Okay, you can invite 10 people. Okay, 10 people. We can invite 10 people. You give two sentences. You give 10 sentences to the first audience, and then the first audience give to the next audience. Okay, trust me, the message cannot be delivered well. If you have done the ice breaking, right? Okay, if I give the outbound training, sometimes I give the test. I give you two sentences. Okay, I give you to the first participant, and the first participant give to the second one to the third one. Trust me, the message cannot be delivered well. Why? Because it depends on our understanding, miss.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
answer.
Certainly, sir. You answered it perfectly. I
Yeah,
would like to ask Akriti if that answer your question.
yeah.
So we have another question. I'll just
Yes,
quickly ask.
sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I got my answer. And firstly, I would like to thank Anjali Bharadwaj for inviting me in this meeting. I feel very pleasure. And my second question to you, sir, is how important is listening in communication?
Or listening, yeah. Okay, how important listening in the communications? Okay, okay, I would like to answer. If you have good listening comprehension, okay, it means by having good listening,
Yes, how important.
okay, if we have good listening skills, it means we can listen well about the message that have been delivered by the speaker. Where is the problem? The problem is in our speaking skills. So that is why if you are doing TOEFL test, okay, for me as an English lecturer, which one is the hardest one to do the TOEFL test? Trust me, the hardest one is the listening skills. Why? Okay, different people, different accent. Different country, different accent. For example, if we try to speak in India styles, okay, in Thailand language, in English, like this one. If Indonesia, I think for English speaking skills is very good. If you go to the airport in Indonesia, okay, the dialect like this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kuala Namu International Airport. That is the message from the operator. If you go to Bangkok, okay, if you go to Bangkok and then you are the airport, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dengmo Airport. That is a problem. No, because language is formed in the society. Okay, by having good understanding or communication skills, it means we can understand about the message. If you go to the Singapore or Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, okay, the dialogue of the Chinese, okay, it is very appear. So, and the next one is a English style from India also. It is a problem? No, because society, language is in the society. So
Yes, sir.
can I have fluent English? I think as I'm Indonesian, I cannot make English is what say like native people. Why? Because I was not born in the native language in native country. So that is why we need to learn. So back to the
Yes, sir.
question. Is
Yes, it sums up to being patient
yes.
and listening and
Yes,
cooperating with others.
a good listener, okay, can understand every message that delivered by the speaker. So
Thanks
please,
so much, sir. You
miss,
are
miss,
indeed a pleasure to
so that is
learn.
why our Lord give only one mouth and then two ears. It means more listening than talking. Okay,
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite my co-moderator, Shelly ma'am, to please continue.
First, I would like to give compliments to Mr. Rudy for an enthusiastic and I believe, an
You are muted, Sir.
So congratulations once again for Mr. Rudy. You know, your presentation was absolutely full of energy. It was enthusiastic,
Ajad,
and we
Amri.
just loved. And the way you were giving the answers to the questions which was asked by the audience over here was marvelous enough. I just loved your energy, you know, and the flow. And because whatever the points you covered in your presentation, it was of much valuable assets to all the educators, because effective communication is one of the best thing, because you can even read the face. Any educator, if you know the educator reaching the class with a sad face or in anger, you know, that touch, that communication is dropped down. So to put on a smile and to go to the class with a positive thing is must for all the educators, I believe. And then how to make the connection with the children, you know, reading your voice modulation and everything, and using different techniques while teaching. So whatever, if I sum up, it was fantastic. So congratulations, Rudy, for your contribution and your visit to this platform. It was awesome. So, with this great start by this speaker of ours, we are taking the session ahead. So, if you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. There are many ways you can impact on the world, but there is no greater impact that you can make them spreading education and empowering people who will empower and teach people who in turn will empower and teach more. So, with this note, I present before you one such empowered edu leader, a woman of substance who doesn't require any introduction. Her name only is enough for all of us. So, with this, I welcome Dr. Rupali Dhamdare, principal at Trinity International School, Pune, who would speak on innovative techniques used by her at her school during COVID. So, the stage is all yours, ma'am. I welcome you to the ABCD International Business Summit. Welcome to the platform, and please go ahead with your presentation. Before that, I would request Rudy to please stop
Okay.
sharing the screen, so that we give the spotlight to Dr. Rupali.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, and for the wonderful introduction. Yes, I am going to talk about the innovative practices during COVID, pre, post as well. I would like to start with, because my co-panelists have, actually touched upon such valuable points when we are coming to education, Preethi ma'am and Rudy sir as well. So I would like to start with focusing on education and knowledge. Now, what is education and what is knowledge? Both go hand in hand, actually. Very little difference, I would say. But education, yes, it's a formal process. You would want to go to a center or a training institute or something like that when you're talking about education. But when you are talking about knowledge, it comes through experience. It comes through your own the experience that you've had and the way you've dealt with the things during your the experience that you have. So looking at that, I'd like to start with a small story, and I'll connect my things with stories only. In Kerala, as we know, elephants are used to transfer big logs of wood from one place to the other. Right. Now, when these elephants are used to transfer logs, what happens is you need to train the elephants. And when you're needing to train the elephants, the elephant, when the elephant is younger, is tied with a chain, and one leg is tied to a pole. But as the elephant grows in size, but the chain remains the same. Now, when the elephant grows in size, though the chain is really small for that elephant at that point of time to just pull one leg and, set free. But the knowledge, the experience that that elephant has, that I'm tied to this and I cannot break free, has stayed with the elephant even when the elephant has grown up. So, what are we doing when we are talking to children? What are we doing when we are imparting education? Are we training them in this manner? Are we training them to be confined to limited knowledge? Are we training them to be confined to the limited knowledge that is available in the books? Or are we training them to fly out as free birds? Is what I would like to focus on here. And yes, what the pandemic has done is that it has pulled us out from that box. It has forced us to break free from that chain and actually move out and explore so many options which were already there with us. Right, technology was there with us, but we were not using it so aggressively as we use it today. So technology is there, it has been there, but today, like, we use it, we are using so many tools online now. It's not that these tools were invented overnight, but it has always been that, these tools were there, but we never really paid attention because we were so comfortable in our regular teaching mode. Going to the classroom, your blackboard, whiteboard is there, and your regular question answer set and your regular lesson plan and things. We thought of games and things maybe in a very forceful situation or things. But today, to keep that attention, because the students were in front of you, you already could gauge them. But today, to keep their attention and to ensure that what you're saying, the knowledge is being passed on, you're using so many tools. Now you're getting to use these tools where these tools have been there for quite some time. But today we have broken free from the chain, and today we are trying to use these tools. Now coming to defining between knowledge. Now there was a big ship that had got spoiled, and the owners of the ship, they were two men, very learned, very rich. They were really worried because this ship was not working, and it suddenly could not set sail because there was some problem with the engine. They called quite a few people, but nobody could really, engineers and someone, nobody could really gauge the problem. So what happened is they called an old man who has been working with ships right from a very, very young age. So this man comes with his bag, he walks in slowly, he takes a look at the entire ship, and then he also wants to, he goes to the engine room, he carefully removes his tools, then he takes out one small hammer from the bag, and he hammers some parts of the engine, and then he asks them to start it, and actually the ship sets sail. So everyone is very happy, and the owners also are like, wow, like, lovely. So after a week, the old man has sent them a nice huge bill. So then the bill costs around 10,000. Now this is a very it's just a number. The number is not important here. The bill is costing, suppose, 10,000 rupees. So the owners are saying that he just didn't do anything. He just came, he put a little hammer here and there. What, किस बात के इतने पैसे? Why is he charging us so much? So then they ask him to please segregate and elaborate on the bill. So he says, using the hammer 200 rupees, and knowing where to use the hammer 9,800. So knowledge to be used and to be used effectively is the key today. Today, we are imparting education to the children so that they can use it effectively. It is not just used to gain another certificate. It is not just used to gain another degree, but it is used to the fullest where actually they can implement it and actually use it and grow in life. So this is where we are wanting to take our children to. So this is where we are wanting them to think actually and apply what they're thinking. Now, whatever our NEP has come into force, it also talks about skill education. When we are talking about skill education, we are talking about actually emphasizing on the skills and teaching the children skills. We are also talking about the bagless days in school. Now, what are these bagless days? These bagless days are to emphasize that knowledge just does not come through books. Education just does not come through books. There are many other ways to gain it. So these are the improvisations, and if we are actually going to implement them properly, not just during the pandemic, even post that as well, actually we will be looking for a better generation and a better future who will know actually how to use the knowledge that they have used in school. Today also, like Preethi ma'am also said, toppers, yes, today they are there in the newspapers. Another 15 days they are called all over. I have nothing against toppers, but it is the average child who finally fights and actually stands out somewhere. So I completely agree to her on this point as well. It's not, I'm not saying toppers don't do well, they do, yes, but actually every child has potential. So when we are looking at skill, we should look at the child, where the child has a skill. Maybe it can be painting, it can be drawing, it can be, mechanics, anything. So nothing actually holds low importance. Today, if we also go to see, there is a lot of difficulty wherein the admissions for engineering and all that are coming up. Why? Because there is a conscious choice. And today parents are slowly, I'm not saying all of them are aware, slowly they are becoming aware that there are many more choices that a child can make apart from these regular courses that have been available for ages. And this is a new change that is happening in a matter of 10 to 15 years. I think India can be looked upon as a very bright country, we being having the maximum youth population in the world. So we are actually looking at a very, very bright future. And if we are looking at implementing education from the way the things are happening and from the way the things are changing, we are definitely going to contribute to the world in a much, much better manner. Again, when we are also talking about knowledge, I would like to end my little talk with another story. I like to connect to stories because it's my favorite part, and I think I keep my children glued, I keep my teachers glued with these tiny story bits, because that is where somewhere suddenly somewhere, oh, she's going to tell us something nice. There was this man who was really, really poor, and he goes to God and he asks God, yeah, that you need to help me out. I'm so poor, I don't know what to do, and you have to give me something today, and you have to help me out. So God gives comes in front of him and he gives him a stone. But God tells him, I'm giving you the stone, but what you need to do is you are going to find the value of the stone. You're not allowed to sell the stone. So the man says, fine, now God has given a stone, now what to do? Takes the stone, he thanks God, and he starts walking. When he starts walking, he meets a fruit seller there. So he shows the fruit seller the stone and asks him that, tell me the value of this stone. So the fruit seller says, you give me the stone, I'll give you 12 oranges. So the man says, no, no, sorry, God, I'm not allowed to sell the stone. So you tell me the value. So he's saying, nay, you give me the stone, I give you 12 oranges, that's it, over. Then he takes the stone, he starts walking. Then he comes to a vegetable vendor. So the vegetable, he shows it to him and he says, can you tell me the value of the stone? So the vegetable vendor says, you give it to me, I'll give you a sack of potatoes and, done. You can take it and you can go. But then again, he says, no, I'm not allowed to sell. So then he takes the stone, he starts walking ahead. He starts walking ahead, he meets a jeweler. So the jeweler says, okay, you sell the stone to me and I'm going to give you 50,000. So then he says, no, no, I'm not allowed to sell the stone. So he said, okay, I'll give you 2 crores of rupees. So then he says, no, even then I'm not allowed to sell the stone. He takes the stone, he starts walking again. He starts walking, he comes to a person who is having immense knowledge about, these precious stones and jewels and things. So he goes to that man and he asks him, tell me the value of the stone. So the man tells him, even if I sell off everything that I have, I won't be able to tell you the value of the stone. And this stone is that valuable. I don't think anyone can give value for the stone that you're having with you. So the difference here is you need to have proper knowledge. So when you go to a proper person who has knowledge, then they can give you the value of things. So even when we are talking about technology today, also there are many questions raised that there is so much information available, and there is also a question, though I strongly believe, and I'm sure all of you will also believe, that a teacher is a facilitator and she's here to stay. Technology is not going to, how much ever technology we have, it is not going to replace a teacher. So this knowledge and knowing how to get on with the knowledge and how to actually use the knowledge and how to value it is, I think, the most important and valuable part. And we need to teach our children this, not just impart education through books and through whatever is there. Yes, I understand, as teachers, as principals, syllabus is there, exam is there, everything is there. Yes, I do understand that is there. But the difference that we can make in their lives is by imparting the knowledge. And I think we are at a very important juncture in the field of when there are so many changes happening in the field of education. I think we can make a lot of difference with the tiny bits and the tiny changes that we get about. So we do have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. And I think when we are actually coming together through so many platforms and we are sharing and collaboration, today is not the age when you keep things to yourself and you'll grow, or you'll never grow if you keep things to yourself. You have to get up and you have to share. Unless and until you share, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to stay there itself. So if you want to grow, you need to get up and share. The more you share, the more you grow. Because when you share, you learn 10 times more than what you're sharing. So this is what I'm here to do as well. I'm sharing, but I have learned 10 times more than what I have shared today. And I'd like to end it with that. Thank you so much.
Ma'am,
Rupali, yes, somebody wants to speak something?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to ask one question.
Wait. I'll give you the opportunity.
Okay, ma'am.
Let me summarize. I'll invite you, Akriti. Dr. Rupali, here, more than a facilitator, more than a guest speaker, you appeared to me like my English teacher when I was a small girl in the class. And she was narrating the anecdotes, and I, like a small child, was glued listening to my English teacher, the three anecdotes which you have spoken here, and wanting for more. Because how so I got connected with the stories which you have, given here, because it has added value to the session. Right from the first story of an elephant, I don't know whether we have realized it or not, but yes, it is true. A small elephant tied to a chain, and then he grew up. The elephant grew in size, but the chain did not. I don't know whether we have analyzed this till date or not. That is a big question, and that is the advice which you have seriously given to the children. Are we chaining our children, or are the children are allowed to break free the chain and then fly in the world? And yes, very true, the pandemic has really told us that yes, the chains are all shackled, it's all broken, and we have adopted, we have flown into the world of technology. And yes, I resonate with you. Technology was always there. That was not the thing, that technology was not there, but we didn't learn because there was never that particular thing which told us, yes, it was never the need of the hour that much. During the pandemic, it was actually the need of the hour, and yes, all of us have broken the chain. And the second thing was really very interesting. I love the example of 200 rupees only for the hammer which he put, and you know 9,800 for the ways for how effective the hammer needs to be used. And that's the the example which you have put to all the students, like they know they should have an idea of where to use the knowledge effectively, where to use the technology effectively. That was great. And about the third anecdote, that stone which you mentioned, how where the value needs to be added. And of course, half knowledge is the dangerous knowledge. For anything, you need to go to the perfect person to get your knowledge checked. So I believe, these three dots and the three stories and the three anecdotes which you have used on this platform has really given a value to the session. And as I never realized when 20 minutes were gone. I never realized how the session was over. Actually, I was expecting Dr. Rupali to speak more, to give us the fourth anecdote, so that we can have some value-based more additions to this. So congratulations, Dr. Rupali. It was an interactive session, and you have made it very light, and you have spoken it very differently. You mentioned about the average student also. You mentioned about the collaborations also. You mentioned about the sharing also, and that is the best thing. You have shared your knowledge to us, but in spite of that, you have said that 10 times more you have gained the knowledge, because by sharing it expands. So that is the best positive example which you have spoken up while you winded up your thing. As now I invite Akriti. You was asking something, you were speaking something. The stage is all yours. Please put the question, Akriti.
Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me. And my question, ma'am, is I agree. I agree that skills are very important, and people are also working upon that part. But many highly repetitive college still require some range of percentage. For example, IITs and aims, and all we know about that. And they judge a student on a percentage basis. So I would like to uh, call ma'am for give a light on that part also.
I agree, Akriti, that they are judging, and you need a set percentage when you need to qualify. But I am not sure whether you're aware that it is not just the percentage. There are many more qualifying rounds as well. They have interviews, they have group discussions, they have many other things. They also have write-ups to be presented by the candidates, and it actually counts for a 360-degree personality. And there are examples when a person who might have a lesser score but has done well in the other rounds can also be selected than the person who's having a better score. So yes, we are changing in our systems, and yes, we are giving these personality traits also more importance as we are moving to the IITs and things as well. And like I said, we are moving towards a better future, so our NEP and things like that. So I personally feel that I'm fortunate to be in this journey of education during the changing times, and the little bit difference that I can make, I would feel that I'm fortunate enough, because I've added that little sugar bit of mine to this sweet journey, and taking the country to a better future.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for answering my question.
Thank you.
Akriti, here I would like to add one point as what Dr. Preethi spoke in her speech, that it is only the conditioning of the parents who have actually put it on the child. It's only about the number game. It's not the child's mistake, it is the parent, because parents often ask, yes, how much percentage, how much homework, how much this. So that competitive spirit or whatever that has been conditioned from the parents to a child when the child is very small, and it goes on for years and years. So now we need to change the dynamics of the education. And there was a word which Dr. Rupali spoke while she spoke about NEP, that was about the bagless. We have never imagined education. We have never imagined a child without a school bag. But now we have this pandemic has taught us. In fact, I would rather like to say that pandemic was a blessing in disguise, because it has actually given us the bagless education. There are no bags, there are no textbooks, nothing. Everything is digitalized. And even then, we are, proceeding further with the education. The educators are teaching, and the children are learning out with the help of the media, with the help of the technology. So that is something very good, you know, which is happening over here. So with this, I want to welcome my co-host, Anjali.
Hello,
The stage is all
yes.
yours. Please proceed over and take the session ahead with your warmth.
Thanks so much, ma'am. Now, I'm super excited for the topic we're going to be tuning to by our next speaker. And the topic is something that we all share and we all need in our life to run smoothly. And the topic is the power of mindfulness, which is being presented to us by Ranjita Kaidim ma'am. But before that, I would like to quickly introduce her to you all. So Ranjita ma'am is an energetic and passionate soft skill trainer and image coach. She has worked with the Premium Airline of India. She has also worked with EdTech Learning and Goldsmith Academy as aviation, hospitality, personality development, and soft skills trainer. Now, ma'am, I invite you to please enlighten us with all the goodies that you have. Please, ma'am, the stage is all yours. I welcome you.
Can you see my slide, all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
thank you, Anjali, for the beautiful introduction, and our other senior moderator as well, Sally. I mean, to see all of you, it's so much inspiring. And all the speakers who have spoken earlier, because I am a parent, and knowing so much about this field, education, about the where are the focus going on in the education system. It's very interesting and very inspiring to learn from all of you. And as I'm a soft skill trainer, and I'm an emotional intelligence coach and NLP practitioner and mindful practitioner, I would like to introduce this topic, the power of mindfulness, with quick exercise from all of you. So I request all of you to just be seated wherever you are. You are in a seated in a chair, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are, just be comfortable, and just be seated and gently close your eyes. Begin to take awareness of the present moment. Place your hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. And with every inhalation, belly rises, chest rises, and with every exhalation, chest falls, belly falls. Inhale, belly rises, chest rises. Exhale, chest falls, belly falls. And we're gonna continue taking deep, long, and smooth breaths. Now visualize yourself seated at an outdoor location that has brought you peace and calmness. Take 100% of your awareness to the space in your mind's eye. Begin to grow roots out of your legs, feet, and to the earth. Grow thick, sturdy, and strong roots through the earth's curse. Feel 100% connected to your roots in your body. Take deep breath. Now place both your hands on your heart and set the intention that for the remainder of your day, all your thoughts, emotions, and mental awareness will be grounded, stable, and calm. Thank yourself for taking this quick, refreshing break, and slowly begin to open your eyes and go for a calm and collected demeanor for the remainder of your day. Thank you, everyone, for taking this quick, refreshing break. How all are you feeling right now?
Ranjita,
Wow, thank you, Sarima. Yes.
Ranjita, you have transported me to Goa, morning rise, beach, and doing meditation over there in peace and no one else.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really happy that many of you enjoyed this quick, refreshing, grounding meditation, mindfulness. So, to begin my session, the power of mindfulness. So, I thought this is a topic that is very close to my heart, and I have seen a tremendous transformation in me when I have started practicing mindfulness. And I would like to remind you mindfulness, if you're not a yoga trainer, if you're not a spiritual leader, or if you are not a person who is trained in mindfulness or NLP practitioner, it doesn't matter. Mindfulness, we're gonna be discovering what it really is with the following slides. So what do you see here? Let me ask this question to all of you. Are you mindful or mindful? So in this picture, we see two people. Let's imagine as husband and wife. So wife is fully in the moment, enjoying the nature, enjoying the sound around, appreciating whatever is at the present moment, be fully aware. And we see a husband who has a lot of clutter in his mind, thinking about his deadlines, his office emails, might be different other things about the dinner. So he's not fully present at the moment. So, and this is what happens with all of us. Our mind keeps on wandering every time. And research has shown that our mind keeps on wandering most of the time in an autopilot mode. 47% of our mind is wandering most of the time. And it's natural. It's natural. Though animals, it's different, but for human beings, it's natural to be wandering our thoughts, our mind, most of the time. But we need few moments of that presence to bring those wandering minds back to the present. So what is mindfulness then? I guess all of you are educators. Many of you are already in the field of training and development, learning. I think we have come across this many times. People say, be mindful what you're talking, be mindful what you're wearing. And we have certain topics on mindfulness. But what actually is mindfulness? Can anyone type in the chat box what according to you is mindfulness? Just one word, so that I know.
Live in present, ma'am. Live in present.
Beautiful, brilliant. One of the key is present moment. Live in the present moment. Anyone else?
I have already mentioned in the chat box, stress-free.
Yes, yes, stress-free, being at the present moment. Okay, very good response. Thank you, everyone. Yes, as one of you have rightly said, be in the present moment. Yes, when we are in the present moment, we will be stress-free, right? So mindfulness is nothing, but it is the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose with an intention and in the present moment, and being non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience from moment to moment. And when I say non-judgmental, I mean accepting the present moment as it is, whether it's good or bad. We are being non-judgmental. So with these beautiful definitions, I would like to forward with a case study that happens in Thailand. So there were 12 members, 12 boys, Thai boys, who want to explore. They are a football team, and with their coach, they want to explore the cave near their house. And they went into the Tham Lung cave, which is in the Chiang Rai province of northern Thailand. And it was one of the boys' birthdays, so they want to celebrate it. They want to explore, and with adventure, they went into the cave. But unfortunately, an unexpected incident happened, as it was the monsoon season in Thailand. And if anyone have been in Thailand in the monsoon season, the weather is really bad over there. It's very unpleasant, and it's very unexpected. It will suddenly rain and flood the entire city. So these boys were trapped in the cave underneath a mountain, and the monsoon, the rain kept on pouring, and it was flooded completely, and they were trapped inside badly. So they didn't have much food to eat. The food got exhausted, and they were trying to drink water that was coming from the ceiling of the caves. And ultimately, one lucky thing that was there, like the coach, who is 25 years old, he has spent a decade as being a monk, Buddhist monk. And you can imagine most of the boys, they are in the age group of 11 to 16. If you could imagine the panic, the fear, they would be having at that particular point of time. So this coach, as he is trained on meditation and is a monk, Buddhist monk, he has been teaching meditation and mindfulness for quite a long time. He told the boys to conserve energy, not to get panic, not to have fear, and just relax and focus at the present moment. And this keeps on. And on the 18th day, they were rescued because it became a big international news, and many people, operations rescue teams from all over the world came to rescue them. The most expert professional divers went into the cave, and they were rescued on 18th day of the trap. And finally, they were rescued, and they were found meditating inside one corner of the cave. So this is one of the example case study I would like to share, that mindful is powerful. Mindfulness is powerful, and we always don't know how it can empower and how it can change those crises and unpleasant situation at certain period of time. So why practice mindfulness then? What do you think? Why should we practice mindfulness? I have told you the definitions. I have told you the case study. Why? Why we should practice mindfulness as an educator? Why we must practice mindfulness as a teacher, as a trainer, as a coach, as a mentor? Why do you think it's necessary? Well, there are a lot of benefits when we practice mindfulness. And one of the benefits is there were a lot of research conducted on mindfulness. It's been 30 years. Studies has been going on, and a lot of research has been conducted on human brains and brain scans and MRI scans. And there has been a lot of research by the scientists as well. And it's not just written in books now. It is the science in it when we talk about mindfulness. And many of the schools and colleges all over the world, they have started practicing it. But there are vast majority of the schools that are still not available with this kind of program. So why not we start our session like I did in the beginning, to pause ourselves for a few seconds, few minutes, and then so that we have more concentration, calmness in the class. What about starting the session of a maths class with a little bit size of mindfulness, pausing ourselves and focusing on our breathing in and out? What about that? Just 5 minutes can create a lot of changes, a difference in the social and emotional learning of the students. So like I mentioned, mindfulness has a lot of advantages, a lot of benefits, and studies have shown that. And we see a lot of famous people like Oprah Winfrey, and we have Madonna, and the list goes on. They all practice mindfulness. They all practice mindful meditation. And I would like to add one more few of the benefits of mindfulness, that it helps in focus and concentration in students, and even in educators and teachers and even leaders. And not only that, it also helps in creativity. It also helps as a stress buster. We will be coming with that. But most important, mindfulness leads to emotional intelligence. How wonderful is this? Mindfulness leads to emotional intelligence? Okay, in the book Altered Trait by Daniel Goleman, he has mentioned that when he came to India 2 years, when he was practicing 2 years in India, mindfulness and meditation, he wrote this book after he came back from India. And he said in that book that how our body, mind, and meditation and mindfulness are all connected. And he has talked about how mindfulness is connected with emotional intelligence is interwoven with emotional intelligence. And as we all have, if some of you have attended Gauri's first session on emotional intelligence talk about few elements, 4 elements. That's your self-awareness and that is your self-regulation, motivation, and even your people's management, empathy. So when we talk about mindfulness, mindfulness means focus in the present, focusing on ourselves. That means we are more self-aware of ourselves. And that is the first element of emotional intelligence. And when we talk about self-awareness and focus on self at the present moment, we are also managing ourselves, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts. We become less reactive and more responsive. And when we talk about Daniel Goleman, the other elements like people's management skills and the relationship skills, here also, when we are present with ourselves, we can be present with other people as well. So in this, all the elements, mindfulness is surrounded and it can lead to emotional intelligence. Going forward, the most important thing, and we already know that what is more valuable, IQ or EQ, right? We have discussed, and many companies and schools are focusing on emotional intelligence these days. We have Yale University have a separate department for emotional intelligence as well. And there are a lot of universities and organizations that has separate department for mindfulness as well. So mindfulness as a stress buster, we all know, and as I said, when a lot of brain scan MRIs were done, there were a lot of instances found that we are able to have more less anxiety. We are able to reduce the cortisols, that is the stress hormones. And we are able to even reduce the size of the amygdala. If everyone knows about prefrontal cortex and amygdala, prefrontal cortex is the thinking, planning, organizing power of the brain. And we have amygdala, that is the emotional part of the brain. So even MRI scans have found that when people are practicing mindfulness, their brain gray cells were able to become smaller in size. And it has increased to creativity. And we have hypothalamus in the brain that is for memory. And even they have seen an increase in the size of the gray cells of hippopotamus. So, and even when we talk about creativity, the prefrontal cortex, the size also has increased in the MRI scans. So this is how powerful mindfulness is. And when we talk about all the benefits, when we talk about all the things that it can empower and all the benefits that it can really make a change in the society and in our children and in our students in our classes, what is stopping us for practicing mindfulness in our schools, in our training sessions, in our universities, colleges, and even in corporates? We all know we live in a fast-paced life. We live in a VUCA world. VUCA world in corporate, it means volatile, uncertain, complexity, and ambiguous. So we live in a world like that where we are bombarded with a lot of screens. Our children are bombarded with a lot of screens, social medias. And what if we practice few minutes of our day and we take few breaks in our schedule and try to focus and observe There's 5 mindful practices, transformers, which I've listed over here. So observe breathing. So we need to take a pause with ourselves and take mini breaks throughout the day. We might be taking sessions the whole day virtually. We are in front of the screen, or might be in the class we are standing and giving lecture to our students. And even our students will find the learning system very encouraging if we develop this kind of practice from the beginning start of the day. And go for a nature walk. And sometimes it really helps when we are connected with nature. All the greeneries, all the birds. When we hear the sounds, it gives a soothing effect to our body and mind. And what about multitasking? Many people believe that multitasking increases the productivity and performance, but it's just a myth. Please avoid multitasking because it will never increase the performance, but focusing in one thing at a time really increases the performance and productivity. And it's not saying by me. They have research done on that. Create a journal. And there are a lot of journals aptitude journal, affirmation journals, and studies and many writers and authors and scientists, they have discovered this as well. When we write something, we practice it. And when we are just saying it and we are not putting into action, we are not really practicing it. Same way, mindfulness needs practice, consistent practice. When I started with mindfulness, I was very skeptical about how people practice this. Is it really gonna, bring a change in me? But trust me, I truly believe, and I have seen transformation in myself, my daughters. When they are less focused, I make them every day practice mindfulness for a few minutes. And trust me, it increases their focus and concentration. And it even increases, it helps in their self-control, in changing their behaviors, and even at the same time, creativity as well. Increases the creativity. I would like to end this beautiful session with a beautiful quote from Viktor Frankl. How many of you know Viktor Frankl? Or have you read the book Man's Search for Meaning? He's a Holocaust survivor, and he has seen suffering right in front of his eyes when he was in the Nazi concentration camp. His wife was killed, his dad, his father, everyone, his entire family was killed right in front of him. But in spite of all the sufferings, he has a purpose in life, and that purpose led him to survive. And this beautiful quote really resonates with me, and I really like this beautiful quote to share with all of you. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So when we talk about stimuli or stimulus, it is those emotions, those feelings that keep triggering us every moment of our life, and we can't run away from it. Stress is inevitable. We can't delete or we can't escape from stress. But what we can do is we can give a pause in that space before that reaction and respond appropriately. In other space, and in that space lies the power to choose our response, and that can make all the difference in our life. And I would like to end with a quote, or I made it. It says, "Leave the moment, leave the breath." So if you want to conquer anxiety, we need to live the moment and live with the breath. Because if we practice mindfulness, it can bring tremendous and profound change in our society, starting right from our schools, where our future pillar of our country or the nation is there. And we has a very important role to play as educators, as teachers, and as trainers, coaches, and mentors. If we practice few seconds or few minutes of our time to start the session or to start the class with a bit size of mindfulness, what a beautiful world it's gonna be. And thank you everyone for listening and for being mindful for a few seconds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranjita ma'am. It was, I mean, you can see the bliss on my face. I was so intently listening to all the tips and all the positivity that you were spreading. You laid stress so much on practicing mindfulness daily, just a few minutes. And I find it sometimes like it's very hard for me to take out time and practice, uh, every day. That discipline is very tough for me. Also, you shared the and a quote from the book A Man's Search for Meaning, that a man's response to any situation uh, decides what his nature is going to be, and the situation can be anything, but it's on the person's hand how he wants to react, how he wants to react to that stimuli. It was a wonderful saying, ma'am. Also, you said how the brain changes and how mindfulness can alter this nerve connection, neural connection, and can have creativity as well. That's amazing because this world right now is just changing direction, creative creative skills. I feel mindfulness is good. I have a lot of questions, but
Am I the only one? Is it because you just got froze, right?
am I audible to you? I would quickly all the participants. I invite you all to just send all your questions in the chat box.
Thank you, Anjali, for the beautiful sum up. And I must say, I hope everyone learned something. We all learn from each other. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the comment and I would try to answer. And we are all change maker, I would say. So the change start from us. So with
Truly.
this,
So,
yes.
ma'am, can you answer my question? That is, how to discipline myself? Because I've thought about mindfulness a lot of times, and it's a good practice, but I don't know why I can't discipline myself enough to practice it daily. Can you just share some tips?
Yes, Anjali, I would love to. I would say it's all start with baby steps. If you have read about James Clear book, Small Baby Steps, if you could. So you can start taking small baby steps. It doesn't happen in a day. Like, I want to practice mindfulness and come on, let's practice. No, it doesn't happen like that. For me, also, it took 10 years. And every day I start my session, I start with a bit size of mindfulness to take pause from all the busy schedules of our life. So to bring discipline and to start mindfulness, we need consistency. Like any habits, you might have read about seven the effective habits of so successful men and all. So there are a lot of books on that, right? So everything start with baby steps. Take Akash, for example, his business. Every day, I'm so excited to see, him on LinkedIn. Every day, something or the other new event coming up. And everyone present here, I have most of them seen in the LinkedIn, doing something or the other every day, baby steps. And for me, when I plunged into training industry, It was tough for me, but I took small baby steps each day. So the key, I would say, Anjali, is in taking that baby steps and taking actions. Because if we don't take actions, we will remain the same. So I hope I
Yes, ma'am, it
answered
indeed
your
answers my question. It's a really tough job to do because all the answers lie on me. I am the one who's going to take the actions and it's going to make a difference. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
yes.
your lovely session. It was so enriching to my mind. It was so nourishing. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would
I'm
call
delighted,
Shelly
Anjali. Thank you.
ma'am to take over. Shelly ma'am, please.
I loved the baby steps being taken by Anjali. As just spoken by Ranjita ma'am, it was great. And just two lines from my side for Ranjita ma'am. See, we all have so much of clutter in our lives, but listening to your session, it had taken us to that peace, to a zone of relaxation, peace, where we all become stress free, because we hardly have time for ourselves. At times we are so busy, planning our day. Now next is what, that me is forgotten. How to pamper ourselves, how to give a special attention to ourselves. So your session was quite relaxing, soothing, and it was full of that meditation and that me factor. Yes, this is the much need of the hour. So Ranjita, hats off to you for giving us this session of yours. And I mean, it has brought us more closer to mindfulness. So thank you for your optimum time and your grace on this session, and to bring a cheer on everybody's mind, what I feel. So hats off to you, and I just loved it.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. And I really delighted that you all enjoyed and learned something out of it. Thank you.
of
Looking
course.
forward in
Yeah.
future as well. Thank you.
So, well, my dear all audience, 9/10 of education is encouragement. Teachers have three loves: love for learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first two loves together. That is the job of an educator. Education opens a window to thought leaders near and far throughout history and let you understand the world in a deeper, more complex way. When you educate one person, you can change a life. When you educate many, you can change the world. So, with this quote of mine, I bring forward the last speaker of the day, and that is none other than our amazing dynamic lady, Miss Afroza Akhtar. She serves at Daffodil International University from Bangladesh. She's an international guest of us as a senior lecturer in the Department of English. She's a certified advanced TESOL practitioner and has an e-teacher alumna of the US Department of State, Dhaka, Bangladesh. She has been nominated as one of the best performing faculty members of Daffodil International University for the year 2020. In 2016-17, she was awarded with a scholarship to teach at Turkey under the Mevlana Exchange Faculty Program, and she has so much of achievements to her credit, but it's not possible for me to read out all. So without any further ado, I invite her on this platform to speak on the topic effective communication strategies to engage learners through online platforms. This is a sort of a case study she would be presenting in front of us. So over to you, ma'am. The stage is all yours, and we want to see what you are going to present to us. Welcome, Afroza.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I actually wanted you to stop, because yes, we all are here to exchange and share our learnings, our experiences actually through these wonderful platforms. But yes, of course, at the very beginning, I'd like to thank ABCD International for organizing this huge summit, because this is a huge one. And I sometimes, get confused that whether my session was yesterday or it's, coming tomorrow or something like that, because there are so many sessions, interesting sessions. There are so many interesting speakers. And this is a wonderful job by Mr. Akash, the CEO of this association. So I thank personally him also for organizing this wonderful summit and bringing us actually as the speakers through this wonderful platform. Thank you so much. Now, as you can see, today my topic is using effective communication strategies to engage learners online in an EFL class. Well, as I am an English teacher, my focus would be how we can effectively engage our learners when we think of an English class. I believe that we have heard about a lot of interesting strategies from Dr. Rudy and from several other speakers. We have been listening to some interesting speakers since early evening today. And we have come across different types of effective communication strategies already, but still, I would like to start with the very first point, which is promoting autonomous learning. So this is the first point which I would like to, promote here today at the very beginning. Why? Because there are 3 points which are associated with this autonomous learning: directing own learning, setting own goals, and obviously studying materials at own pace and at own terms. Now, when we think of this post-COVID era, if as teachers, we don't actually prepare our learners that way so that they can, take the responsibilities of their own learning, then what would happen? Then as teachers, I would have all the burden on my shoulder actually at the end of the day. And as an English teacher, it's not possible, to manage a large and huge class, a huge class size. For example, in my university, okay, is someone saying something? No? Okay. Well,
you carry on, Afroza.
As an English teacher, I believe that I don't know whether there is an English teacher here or not, but yes, I believe that as an English teacher, we usually have huge number of students in the classes. Sometimes even, a math teacher also may say the same thing, that in my math class, I have huge number of students, more than 50. I usually teach around 40 students in a class. So if I have to take the responsibility of all these students, then that would be a huge burden on me. So I'll have to, make my learners autonomous learners so that they can take the responsibilities of their own learning. They can come up with their own classwork, homework. They can, study the materials the way they want, because all should be ready, all should be there in front of them. And now it's their turn how actually to organize, how to cope, and how, to come up with results. And yes, of course, apart from that, creating an open and accessible environment for students is also important. So why is that? Because while we used to teach in physical classrooms, as teachers in our university, we had counseling hours. I believe almost all teachers have counseling hours every day. Now here, when we are online, what about this counseling hour? Well, we can't actually ignore this. Rather, we'll have to create virtual counseling hours for our students. And it could be, through any platforms according to students and teachers' convenience, of course. And yes, of course, if needed, we can also think of, creating more than one platform if the students and teacher need, or if they feel that importance, they can create more than one platform for this effective communication. And also, as teachers, we may bring, live case studies in the classes as examples. We can put them, show them the case studies. We can put the case studies in front of the class so that the students see that this is how I can be a learner, I can be a teacher of my own self, and this is how I can continue, I can progress, I can develop, I can, focus on my strengths, and also I can try to overcome my weaknesses or challenges. Now, apart from that, yes, of course, we need to allow our students to participate in developing the course content. Now, this is one very important issue which I have been focusing since I went to a curriculum and syllabus design conference probably last month. There I had some interesting ideas. I got some interesting ideas. I had the opportunity to listen to some interesting speakers who focused on this idea that now we can't ignore students while redesigning or re-evaluating the syllabus, because we'll have to assess them as well. So syllabus and assessment, these two actually go parallelly. And whenever we think of redesigning the syllabus or rescheduling or remoduling, the contents, then of course today we should have students as one of the primary, criteria in our head. Now here, I have, tried to suggest a ratio. For example, 80% teacher consent and 20% student interest. I believe maybe can, create a very good course, or can interest students actually to get into the coursework. So because these days when we are online, getting into the coursework is very, very important. So there should be interesting for the students, and they also should have that kind of feeling that, well, this syllabus is for our development. This syllabus is not for the teachers. This syllabus is for the students. And yes, of course, positive reinforcement is another interesting word which I would like to associate with effective communication strategies, of course. Now, we can reinforce our students positively through several ways. As teachers, I believe we all do this. As educators, we have been doing this actually. But still, I would like to focus on weekly awards for students' positive contributions. Why not? We may, give them weekly awards, and we may give them awards on, class discussion, forum discussion sometimes, responding to feedback to each other. Why not? And also, bringing up shy students in front of the class is also important. We can never ignore that there are always some very shy students in the classes, always. I personally have that feeling, every time whenever I get a new batch, I always see within 10 to 15 days, I find that there are 4 or 5 students among those 40 who never ever speak. So what to do with them? Can we ignore them? No, of course not. We need to bring them in front of the class. And how? How can we do that? Well, usually we engage our students through different assignments, different types of project works. Now, whenever we discuss those assignments in the classes, we may, come up with that specific shy student's assignments. We may put his or her assignment in front of the class, and then we may request him or her to speak or to share his or her ideas. So this is how we can, make them speak. And also, calling them in the discussion forum is something very, very significant. For example, in my university, I must say that we use Moodle as a blended learning platform, apart from the Google Meet classrooms. So in Moodle, we have discussion forum through which we try to engage students. And there we have that opportunity to, call on the shy students. We call them, we encourage them to write, to give feedback to their peers, so that this is how they can, contribute, they can participate. So yes, as teachers, we'll have to think of all these things. And yes, encouraging healthy competitions is also important. And how we can encourage this healthy competition. Well, they may respond to each other's queries, and this could be a competition. Why not? As teacher, I have that freedom, to set the way I want to assess my students. In my university, particularly as teachers, we have that freedom Specifically, we have freedom with 40 marks through which we can assess the students the way we want. So this is one very interesting idea. And also we may encourage group competitions. We usually engage our students through different group works. So this is how they can compete in groups as well. And we can also engage specifically highly intellectual students to provide constructive feedback to those who need them the most. So this is how the students who are more intelligent than the others can also contribute effectively, and they may also feel happy. On the other side, the students who need the feedback the most, they may also feel that, yes, my teacher is not always giving me feedback. Rather, one of my best friends is giving me feedback sometimes or regularly. And well, this is something very interesting because he or she is directly helping me to improve. And yes, of course, finally, reflection of feedback in the next attempt. But well, as teachers, if we can ensure that my students should have reflection of my feedback or of their peers' feedback in their next attempt, then obviously I can say that we can measure their learning, their development. Well, today while going through the chat box, I had this question. One of the participants asked this question to Mr. Rudy: how can we measure these effective strategies, effective communication strategies? Well, of course, it's very, very difficult to measure in that way, specifically that way. But yes, of course, if we can have a reflection step by step, gradually, if we can continue through reflections, obviously, we can measure our students' performances. That would definitely help us. And yes, the next point is about addressing them directly. We need to, engage students directly by name. We cannot forget that whether the students are here or not, we can just quickly get the claims if we can call them by name. If they respond, then well, of course, we can ensure their participation. But other than that, in most of the cases, we see these days that students join the classes most of the time, but sometimes they are not in front of the laptop, they're not in front of the device. So yes, calling them by names often may sometimes ensure their effective participation and of course attendance. And asking each person a question at least once. This is also a very, very important effective communication strategies. Well, as I have mentioned, after 10 to 15 classes, we get the idea how the class is, how the students are, how they are responding, whether they're interested to respond or not. So whenever we get the idea, we can keep a pen and paper, and we can call them by names, we can ask them questions, and we may also note down the names, because so that we don't repeat the names in every classes. For example, if I have asked 5 students questions in yesterday's class, then obviously I'm not going to ask those 5 students any questions in the next class. So yes, this is how we can engage them. And well, yes, of course, finally, I would say that rewarding their success is also very, very important. It definitely motivates them, boosts up their energy. So we need to praise them to build their self-esteem and self-confidence. And while giving negative feedback, we'll have to be very, very specific and very, very sensitive, because, we can't be demeaning in terms of giving them, negative or constructive feedback, whatever you say. And yes, we may also offer them some extra scores or credits for completing all course activities and exams in time. This definitely boosts up their energy. Believe me, I have been doing this since 2020. And I have been getting very good results from my students, uh, effective participation of my students, and I usually give them 5 marks. I have provided 5 marks in the earlier semester also for this, for completing all their tasks, all their activities in time. So yes, there are a lot of other ways, but I would like to end over here with this. Thank you so much for hearing me. And now, if you have any questions.
Yes, ma'am, Monica, you may please ask. She was raising the hand and I told her to ask the question at the end. Miss Monica?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question that most of our class, most of our student in our society is not able to join, not able to afford the internet connection, mobile phone or laptop for the classes. How to resolve this problem?
Okay, a wonderful question. Wonderful question, Monica. I have been receiving this question a lot of times. Well, Monica, the thing is, I believe you have listened to my presentation. At one point, I mentioned that everything should be there for the students. Everything should be in front of them. For example, as I have mentioned, in our university, we use Moodle, as the blended learning platform. So the entire course actually is over there on Moodle. I am just a facilitator. I just, guide my students. I'm in the class to help them, to guide them, nothing else. The entire course, each and everything, each and every details, along with the assessment strategies, the scores, the calendar, semester calendar, schedule, everything is over there in Moodle. So yes, everything should be there in front of the student. And whenever they have, internet, whenever they have that easy access, they can download the materials, they can see what to do, what to complete next week, and what my teacher is expecting from me next week, what kind of assignment I am supposed to do, next month. So each and everything should be there for the students so that they can use them according to their convenience. Because yes, of course, there are some remote places, Monica, not in your country. In Bangladesh as well, there are very remote areas where students don't have that internet access. So we should think about them as well. I think this is how we can mitigate the gap.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Any other question?
Afroza, your presentation was too good, but I would like to give this opportunity to the audience because it is already 8:35. I don't want to take much time. So I think it is
Yes.
it is the audience turn to please put the questions to all the speakers. In case if some questions were not put in the beginning, the stage is all yours, my loving audience. So whatever questions you have in mind for all the 5 speakers, you may please begin with. Because I found all the sessions so invigorating, full of information, full of insights, and there was too much to learn. So in case if you are also looking for an opportunity, if you have some doubt in mind, if you want to clear it, then you may please ask the questions. Or the fellow speakers also, if you have any question in mind with, for each other, you can even ask.
I would like to ask a question here.
Yes. Over to Dr. Preethi.
I would like to ask Ms. Ranjita, looking at the scenario today, how important it is according to you, including mindfulness as a part of curriculum in the school for young learners?
So you mean to say how to inculcate the mindfulness program, or what do you mean, ma'am? Can you just
So
explain?
very young children, yeah, I'll explain once again. Very young
Mhm.
children are as it is with a lot of energy, lot of thinking. The unrest in them is higher, especially during this pandemic. Their curiosity, their questions, their anxiety level is of a different spectrum altogether. So if
Mhm.
we want to include this kind of a learning in a classroom, do you think it should be
Mhm.
introduced during a period, or it can be a part of any period during the classroom teaching for any subject?
Like I mentioned also, thank you for the wonderful question. And this, came up in many of my sessions also. How can we introduce? So like I mentioned in my 5 mindfulness practice transformers at the end of the slide, like it's not necessary like it should be at the beginning of the session. It can be any time in between the session when we have, like my daughter, for example, their school, I have seen they have practiced mindfulness a lot in their sessions. So it's not only beginning of the session. So for example, they're in between art drawing or coloring. So the teacher says to them, so children, close your eyes and just imagine something that you like to draw, or they narrate a story, for example, and after the story they said imagine all the characters in the story, and whatever you remember, try to imagine in your eyes, close your eyes, be with your mind, think what you can draw, what you can color, what are the colors you want to color. So this is how in between the sessions also, when they are teaching coloring or might be some art subject, they also introduce this in small bit size, like I mentioned. It's not necessary that it should be in the beginning of the session with 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So it can be a break in between, a pause. And for example, when we are narrating stories, like I mentioned, or when we are having an art session, or when we are about to have a birthday celebration of a kid. So just close your eyes and imagine what you want to give it to her as a gift, as we are all virtually here. So when you meet her in the offline sessions in the school, what you want to give it to her, imagine, close your eyes. Imagine the gift you want to give it to her. So this is how I have seen many schools practice bit size of that mindfulness and introduce
Thank you.
them in between, take a pause, yeah, and introduce them during the sessions.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
I hope it helps you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderfully well answered. And if we have any other question, I may please allow my audience to please put up any question to any one of the speakers whom you want to. Because I have so many, but it will kill the time. So I want to give an opportunity to all my audience to go for. Okay, so if we don't have any questions coming, then I have some points to just speak, and it is just the summation of all the wonderful speakers and all the insights which we have got during the pandemic time. So I just want to sum up, you know, let me be brave in this time when I don't feel brave. Let me focus on the students on my screen. Let me be strong when I feel like a misplaced astronaut, mask over mouth and face shield on forehead. Let us acknowledge fear, suffering, and how those who were already anxious are even more so. Let us ask for help and accept it, and encourage our students to reach out. Let us invent new ways of connecting, each Zoom meeting probably a portal, each physical classroom a change but dynamic space. Let us redefine what community means, what coming together means. Protect us from each other as barriers also come down. Help us learn to live with this paradox. Let us plan and improvise, pivot and flexi. Let us share, collaborate, mix and integrate. Let ingenuity coexist with fear, compassion, with defense, humor with darkness. Let us be real with each other, touchstones for each other, and let us take care of ourselves to live an altered life that is still full of meaning, to keep learning and dreaming in a time of crisis, to let crisis influence us but not to dissuade us, so that it's not our roadblock but our material. Let us continue this experiment experiment together with every precaution possible, born of commitment, curiosity, and love. And let us be open to transformation. So with this, I invite our CEO, Mr. Akash, for his vote of thanks to this summit. Over to Akash, sir.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful management, and thank you all our speakers, great speakers, Dr. Preethi Ocha, ma'am, then Rudy Salam sir, and Rupali ma'am, after Ranjita ma'am and Afroza ma'am. What a wonderful sessions! You all are rock, and Shelly ma'am and Anjali ma'am, you are also rocking. So thank you all for these wonderful sessions and moderating the sessions. And thank you all mentors. Because of you, everything is happen. So thank you all. Thank you all participants. And because of your presence and support, we are doing lots of good works. So needed your support always. So thank you once again, and over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akash, for such a refreshing and motivating pulse of wisdom from you. And especially our mentors too, our esteemed speakers, my co-host, sweet Anjali, you were too sweet, and there are miles to go. So for you, I have one special message: keep smiling, keep rocking, and there is so much which you can achieve. This is just the beginning, and this is the just baby steps you are taking. So all the best for you, Anjali. And my best wishes for all the audience for being a great audience, bringing your gracious, professionalism to the event, and supporting the next generation of innovators and game changers, as we all call ourselves trailblazers. So that is the name of the summit which we have given, all innovators here. And thank you everyone for today, making this an excellent international business summit. And it is already 8:43, and I don't know how amazingly the time flew. We were all glued to this session. I think many of us joined at 5:50 p.m. and now it is 8:44, and many of us are sitting glued without, switching off the camera. So this means that this was a great session, and we did not even take a breather. And all five speakers, I believe, were incredible, and everybody had their unique element to share. Somebody's presentation was so good, somebody's that interaction was so good, and somebody's anecdotes were so good, and somebody's soothing breathing session, whatever, that mindfulness was awesome. And Afroza was too great when she winded up with her great presentation. So we got to see the variety of speakers over here. We got to see the spice, because it was because as see, not even as a moderator, but also I find myself as an audience also to feel connected. So as an audience also, I felt, yes, I got connected to each and every different speaker, their mind thought, their presentation, their deliberation. And if I as an audience was able to take the key takeaways, I believe all the audience who might be seeing, or anyone who would even see the YouTube video with Mr. Akash will be uploading, I find this as a great inspirational session, so that even if somebody missed it out because of the busy schedules and all, I will not comment. But then yes, they will certainly lap up. There were so many positive things which were shared by each and every platform. So this was day 4, and according to me, not even as a co-chairperson of ABCD International, not as a moderator, but as an audience, as a simple audience, I found it as a very fruitful session. So I think we all should give the 3 cheers to ourselves. Hip hip hooray for ABCD International Summit, and hip hip hooray for the CEO, hip hip hooray for the mentors and the esteemed guest speakers who had enlightened us and has made this and has given this show a great start and the great ending. Also, my loving audience, my co-host Anjali, if you are there, you can come yourself on the screen. You were extremely sweet with us, and I think with this we would like to say sign off. Good evening, good night to all of you. And anybody, if you want to share, you can share it. But otherwise, we can then close the summit. And once again, I want to give a big heart to all of you for all the big support, for bringing this session to, to a gorgeous start and a gorgeous end also. And I think day 4 was stupendous. And I believe the coming 6 days which we have, it has really raised the bar. And we would like to see the same tempo in the coming 6 days also. So let's cheer up. And I expect each one of you to please keep the Josh up. The Josh should be up, it should never be down. So that is what which I want to say before we say sign off. So good evening, everybody, and have a very safe life, safe journey. Keep smiling, keep rocking, and we will be meeting again on day 5. So good luck, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice
Thank you once
evening.
again. Bye-bye. Great.
Sally, one
Great.
word for you. You are so
Thank
energetic,
you.
so much of positivity. The
Oh,
way you
thank you,
deliver,
thank you.
the way
No,
you
no, no.
speak.
That is what I was feeling. That 8:47, I don't feel like
Mm.
switching off the camera. And this 3 hours, almost 3 hours, we were here, and I don't feel tired at all because I wanted to, listen to more. Because each one, what I said in the beginning, that each one had given us some different dose. It was different things which we learned, and I really support what Dr. Rupali said and what Dr. Preeti said, that this platform is meant not only to learn. The more knowledge you will share, the more you will learn. 10 times better you will learn. So it's better not to keep the knowledge to yourself. It's better to share it out. It's always give and take. All the nuggets of wisdom which we all normally share, there are things which we lap up, there are things which we share, there are things which we receive also. So it's better to communicate, because communication is the best thing. So I feel, if you talk about this pandemic, then pandemic really is a blessing in disguise for all of us, because it has given us connected with each other. We are here, with the national speakers, and we are here with the international speakers. Different time zones, for some it's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, but then we are all connected with each other. And this technology has brought us closer, because it has given us the global connect. Okay, and we all are sitting at the comfort zones of our home, no disturbance and nothing. And then also we are able to connect with each other, because pre-pandemic it was all what we were all glued to our own country, our own state, and our own business of life. That's it. The periphery was very small. But now we have come out of that comfort zone of us. And I would again want to share the anecdote given by Dr. Rupali over here, that the shackles of chain is broken, and we have learned to flew away, and we are flying in this energy of opportunities which we are getting. And this business summit and all this, I think the platforms have given us this opportunity to actually connect and speak a mind. And unless and until we don't speak our mind, I don't think so we are authorized to even call ourselves as educators. Because an educator is an educator when he or she is able to influence people, when he or she is able to put the points across, listen to the people, share their feelings. And then it's a vice versa. Actually, it is give and take. It's a give and take in the platform. So I believe the process should go on. And even if the pandemic stops, we should not say, that this is the temporary phase of life, that this is just happening only during the phase of the pandemic. And as the pandemic stops, again we will come back to the 24, that four walls of the house. No, that should not be there. Once if we have got the wings, once we have know how to fly ourselves, we should be flying forever throughout our life. And this is the positive message which I want to give to all the audience over here, everybody who is sitting over here, that the Josh should not come down. The Josh should always fly. And whenever we return back to ABCD International or anything, I will be posing this question to everybody, that how's the Josh? And you should come out with the answer, hi sir, hi ma'am, yes Ranjita, high five. High five. That should be the spirit with everybody over here. So why to bring the negativities, why to bring all this, the sad elements over here? See, even the adversity also teaches something good. And try to adopt something good in all the negative which is going on. And always believe in the karma of Bible. Whatever is happening for the good. Whatever will happen for the good. So stay focused. Don't be sad, don't be upset, and don't long face. Oh my God, what is happening? I'm finished. There is nothing there. Nothing will happen. This is destiny. This is God. And maybe something is stored. Something is a store for all of us. God has given us this golden opportunity. See, I am sitting in New Delhi and I am interacting with Ranjita over there, and Afroz are from Bangladesh, Mr. Akash from Nasik, Dr. Imran Khan is sitting over there, but with Mr. Razul also I can find him over there. So this is just an opportunity that we all are interconnected through some medium or the other. So why not to laugh at if God has given us something, try to treasure it out. And yes, always do remember, I really like that anecdote of Dr. Rupali also. Only 200 rupees. You need to spend only 200 rupees for the hammer, but 9,800 rupees to use it effectively. So you all have ABCD International through Dr. Rupali has given you today rupees 9,800 to use your effective communication skill or your knowledge effectively with the audience or with your people, wherever you are working, whatever work you are doing, but at least try to lap up, at least try to do it. And definitely that is gonna return back to us. Never cry, never feel that, yes, this is happening with me. Life is not rosy. No, everything will come up. We will do wonders. We'll rock together. The only thing is we need to find that positivity in ourselves. We need to find that killing instinct that, yes, this will happen and we will rock together. And I think this is the message which I want to give to everybody before we wind up the session, that yes, if we are there, we will rock again with everything, whatever we have, we will grow, and together we will grow. This is the pledge I believe before ending the session everyone is gonna take with me. Let's hold hands together and let's grow together, because I don't believe the success of only one. We all should be together in this mission, and we all should grow together. Hold hands with each other, try to support each other, try to help each other, try to collaborate. And then, the world is yours. You will never realize that the success is knocking at your door. Knock, knock, knock. I am there. You just need to open the door for yourself. Please open the door for success, and the success will be yours. So this is the message I want to give before we say finally a bye-bye to all of you. Ranjita, you made
Ali, just pat yourself, pat yourself. You did a great job. Pat yourself. I must say pat. Amazing. Yes. Amazing.
Love you all audience, and love you for all the support which you have. I mean, you always give that support, and that is what one individual wants for. So I think I should owe this to Mr. Akash for giving all of us this beautiful platform.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful inspirational words, and for all your support. So Imran sir, you want to associate with us? You can WhatsApp. I have shared my number. You can WhatsApp.
Yeah. I think I have your number. I have been watching your programs for quite some time now.
Okay.
Particularly the programs that you do with Dr. PB Deshmukh.
That's good. Dr.
PB Deshmukh is my boss. Basically, I reported to him. I worked under him. Although it was long time back, 20 years back.
Yes. Abhi yaad hai. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was starting my career, and he was towards the end of his towards nearing his retirement and all those things.
Yes.
So yeah, I liked it.